Hello, guys. Welcome back to Stacking Stocks, and many thanks for joining us today. In our previous session, we discussed the possibility of Wish stock experiencing a short squeeze after its earnings release. Today should be another exciting and interesting session as we discuss whether NIO stock is a good buy. What do you think? There seems to be a lot of fuss about NIO stock. What could be the reason? It's quite evident that investors are constantly on the lookout for new opportunities to diversify their portfolios. If this is not your first rodeo, you probably already know owning stocks in different companies is a smart move. It can help you grow your savings in the long term and protect them from inflation and taxes. However, investing in the stock market entails its own risks. That's why you must be careful when choosing where to put your money. But you never know the perfect sectors where you can invest your money. Do you currently have an investment portfolio? What are some of the shares you own? Maybe during today's session, you might be thrilled by our choice of stock. The electric vehicle, EV sector, is catching massive attention from investors all across the globe. Have you thought about investing in any EV stock? Considering the amount of attention it's getting, it looks like an excellent choice of investment, but that is subject to debate. Maybe you have a divergent opinion. One of the companies that have gained momentum these days is the Chinese NIO. Earlier this year, after the company's CEO announced the construction of a second plant in the industrial city of Hefei, shares of this EV manufacturer became a hot investment. Does that mean that NIO's stock has become investors' go-to stock to diversify their investment portfolios? We have established that many investors perceive NIO as a security stock, more like stock with long-term potential. Most of the time, when investing in stocks, the short-time gain is inconsequential. What matters is how long you'll continue gaining from the stock. Or do you prefer a one-time profit before moving on to the next promising short-term stock? For smart and visionary investors, NIO stock should be a consideration. When planning to invest in EV shares, you have to ask yourself what's more profitable in the long run: banking on established automakers that are less dynamic, or taking the leap and putting your money in upstarts that could potentially give you bigger gains. Your best bet should be on the latter. Here's why we think so. Do you know that NIO is one of China's most valuable EV companies today? Earlier this year, its stock declined by roughly 11% following a huge sell-off in Chinese stocks. Investors worldwide are a little concerned about the risks of investing in Chinese stocks in general. The investing landscape has been somewhat unpredictable due to some regulatory action taken in recent months. Nonetheless, unlike other sectors like education, technology and e-commerce, which are also under the authority's scrutiny, EV companies like NIO are still up-and-coming businesses. What does this mean for companies like NIO? It means that despite there is a less regulatory authority, which means that they are free to go about their operations peacefully. And although they are essential in the Chinese efforts to cut on aggressive emissions, they're still a work in progress. Though relatively new in business, EV companies face massive global competition. They're competing against big household names like Tesla and are striving to make it into the international market. That's why they're less likely to face as much backlash and strict regulation by the authorities as other industries in the Chinese market. After all that's been said, don't you think investing in the EV sector could be the best investment decision you have ever made as an investor? NIO stocks have been moving high in the recent past. Why do you think so? We believe that the company has got interesting projects that are pushing its numbers higher. Back in June, NIO's CEO confirmed the construction of NIO Park, a brand new NIO manufacturing plant, alongside its automaking partner, Jianghuai Automobile Group. The factory is expected to put the city of Hefei on the map as a center of EV manufacturing and expertise. This development comes as a part of a bailout deal with the authorities implemented in 2020. Wow, such developments and projects motivate investors to break the bank on stock investment. Well, what could possibly stop you from getting a piece of NIO stock shares? Are you a long-term oriented stock investor? NIO does not seek to give you the short-term gain and thereafter plummet sharply. We're talking about potential bigger long-term gains. If everything goes according to plan, the vastly anticipated NIO Park should begin operations in the third quarter of 2020. This will boost NIO's production potential from the current 10,000 units to about 20,000. Additionally, NIO has finally completed the approval process to sell its ES8 electric SUV in the EU. NIO also plans to launch the ET7 sedan in Norway next year, where it has already sent its first exported shipment of its flagship ES8 SUV from Shanghai. In addition to the ET7, NIO reportedly plans an ET5 sedan as another new product next year. The vehicle, which will be positioned below the ET7, is expected to be announced at the company's annual NIO Day in 2022. Could that be why interest in NIO is spiking among stock-hungry electric vehicle investors? The company has increased its operation base. Moreover, the company is also set to double its production units. As if that's not enough, NIO has also gotten the approval to sell its ES8 SUV in the EU. With that said, why wouldn't any smart investor be interested in getting NIO stock shares? But you're probably wondering why you should invest in NIO stock. Here's what you need to know. NIO currently dominates the Chinese EV market with autonomous vehicles, charging stations, and other products. Their sales, unprecedentedly, increase every quarter. Wow! That's quite interesting. And it doesn't even end there. Just over the last fiscal year, they experienced a 423% growth and a revenue boost of 133.3% by selling 44,000 EVs. Don't you think the numbers look fascinating? And the company has even bigger plans for investors. Starting next year, NIO will also begin the highly awaited production of a luxury sedan, the ET7. The Chinese EV giant has had some supply chain issues in the past. However, the construction of its new manufacturing facility in Hefei is expected to solve these problems in the near future. This is set to create an undervaluation that will thrill savvy investors. We believe that we're going to experience a surge in the number of NIO stock investors in the near future, but that shouldn't come as a surprise considering the massive figures we've witnessed so far. The EV market is set to get better. We believe that electric vehicles are the future of transportation. What does this mean? The electrification of transportation is imminent, and EV sales are expected to increase dramatically over the next few years. They're likely to jump from the current 1.7 million to roughly 26 million by 2030. These digits are projected to reach about 54 million by 2040, and China alone will be responsible for 13 million EV sales in the next decade. If these figures are anything to go by, the EV industry will be one of the most lucrative sectors for investors. Look at these figures. What do you think? Not many industries portray so much potential, but then there's a persistent question that we haven't answered yet. Should you invest in NIO stock? Deciding where to put your money is a personal choice that you should make extremely carefully. However, as some may say, no risk, no gain. You might never find out if it's worth it if you don't try it. The Chinese EV shares market is still highly volatile. You might be getting second thoughts because there are probably better stocks than NIO at the moment. Yet, there's no denying it has a promising future as this industry develops. Are you looking to secure the future of your investment portfolio? Then you should strongly consider adding NIO to your portfolio. Once again, many thanks for tuning in today. We hope that you'll find this guide very useful. Don't forget the notification bell for updates. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.